Christina Aguilera and Beautiful here on BBC Essex, BBC Radio Suffolk, BBC Radio Kent, BBC Radio Cambridgeshire and BBC Radio Norfolk. Just a slight change to our normal programmes on a Sunday evening. I'm Ray Clark. I will be again next Sunday, 6 o'clock through until 8 with the normal mixture of music, and Mark will be back next week as well with vintage vinyl. But for this evening, we're looking back at events, inventions, the way our life has changed, lifestyle changes and technology over the 100 years of the life of Prince Philip, 1921 to 2021. Just think of all of those things that have changed, and not just because we're talking about Prince Philip, obviously, but anybody, as I mentioned earlier, Prince or Pauper, that's gone 100 years, have seen so much change. Even people 90, 80 years old or whatever, just so many amazing things in your lifetime, in their lifetime. Newspapers, radio, television, those were the places to get information once. That's until the year 2000. Or thereabouts. Then, love it or loathe it, social media has changed the way that we get much of our information. It's connected us in so many different ways. It may also have divided us as well. However, one thing's for sure, it's here to stay. Even the Royal Palace use Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. On the Royal Family official Facebook page today, it reads, "It is with deep sorrow that Her Majesty the Queen has announced the death of her beloved husband, His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. His Royal Highness passed away peacefully this morning at Windsor Castle. The Royal Family join with people around the world in mourning his loss." So, yes, everybody is using social media. Jon Morter is from South Woodham Ferries in Essex. He runs a Facebook group for the town, which has over 30,000 members and is just an all-round Facebook expert and works in social media. Jon, good to speak to you. Thank you.
Good evening, Ray. Hello.
Thank you for your time. Did you ever envisage when you were growing up that you would be involved full-time with writing stuff on screens and sending it around the world?
Well, no. I mean, when you say when I was young, but even at the age of 30, I wouldn't have believed that would be where I'd end up. No, absolutely not. It's revolutionised everything, hasn't it?
But not always for the best. I mean, there are some amazing things. I always use this little story. Bear with me. I know I'm speaking to you and I'll ask you for your expertise in a moment. But I always think that you get things like Facebook that can reunite people that haven't seen each other for years, or dear school friends or even family, and it works so well. And then the next posting can be so vicious and so nasty. It can divide and it can join us, can't it?
Yes, you're right. I mean, it's how can I put it? I mean, to me, it's like, I suppose when the telephone was invented. The telephone is brilliant for giving great news and for good tidings and wonderful things. But the telephone was also bad news and stuff. And I think social media, if you look at it in a similar vein, it's kind of the same thing. And obviously, one thing with social media is it does give all of us a mouthpiece to speak out of publicly. So, yes, you are going to get the great stuff. You are going to get those opinions that you disagree with or don't like.
I mean, I would be the last person in the world that would advocate censorship. But do you think that might be coming one day? I mean, just if you take a local group and you'll get, and I read something this morning about where I live and somebody had seen something they disagreed with, but the words were so spiteful and nasty. And you think, well, nobody deserves this. So has there got to be some control? Do you think it's like the genie that's come out of the lamp and nobody can control it, Jon?
Well, I'd argue that actually, as social media has developed, there is a degree of some censorship coming now, which you just didn't have even about 3 or 4 years ago. Facebook, for example, at the moment, are very, very tough on a lot of specific words and phrases, which they never really used to be. Yeah, there's still a lot to do. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot to do. And the same with Twitter and even Instagram to a degree as well. Can I see full-on censorship? I think the question is, where do you draw the line between people being allowed to say what they feel and being censored. It's a really difficult question to answer, Ray, if I'm honest with you. It's and I think whoever you ask, you will get 1,000 different responses on that. But Facebook in particular, and I'll be honest with you, I fell foul of it a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I had one of my posts removed because I said something, and it wasn't a nasty word as such, but a lot of social media is you have like computers and bots that check for certain language, and I actually shared a piece of satire, and Facebook decided they didn't like it, even though it was very, very innocently done. It was taken down. So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I hope we haven't lost you there, Jon. You still there?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
right?
sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have to message you on Twitter or something to get you back again. So yeah, and the royal family have embraced it. Everybody's embraced it. There are very few people that haven't at least aware of Twitter or Instagram or whatever. Even if they don't use it, their sons, their daughters, somebody in the family will use it. It has swept the world, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I think even if you lived on the moon, you'd still be involved with social media now. I mean, look, when His Royal Highness passed away, where was the first place that many of us found out? And there it was. I mean, I first saw it on Twitter, and but I would not have. I don't really hardly watch the TV anymore. For example, I just don't watch it because of social media, because I get all of my information there.
Times have changed. Where do we go next then, Jon? What's yet to come? I mean, you people that use it all the time, have you sat down and pondered this very topic?
Oh, right. That's the eternal question. I don't know. And I don't think anyone knows really. I mean, currently there's an app called Clubhouse, which is currently going incredibly quickly and very well, which is just spoken word. It's no visuals at all. It's just only spoken word, and that's doing really well. But if you'd have told me that a year ago, I'd have said you're mad. I said no. Why would anybody be bothered about just a simple spoken word app? But there it is. It's doing really well. So my advice on that is you just don't know. You literally, it's going to take some clever person to come up with something wacky, and if it works and people take it on board, off it will go. It's as simple as that.
It's amazing, Jon. The one thing that I've learned, though I secretly knew when I started doing this programme, is things go round and round and round in circles. And your words just now about this app with the spoken word are exactly the same as the guy was talking about 2 hours ago when we spoke of the invention of radio back in the 1920s and a radio service. So nothing's new, Jon. You guys with social media think you're leading the way, but nothing's new, mate. Nothing's new.
It's just, I think it's sort of some communication has been there. And again, since Prince Philip was born in 1921, communications will always be there, and it's just how you access your information. In the 20s, it was mainly newspapers, and then obviously radio, TV. We have social media now, and essentially it's the same thing. It's just a different way of accessing it.
Yeah. And I suppose the point must be made that, we're talking about a bloke with the Duke here, and even if he didn't work out how it worked, he would want to know, and it's the latest gadget. So yeah, I can imagine that he would have expressed an interest in that.
I would have thought so. Yes. He was quite a forward-thinking chap, wasn't he? So I believe he probably would have done, and who knows, he may well have been right up until the end of his life. That wouldn't have surprised me at all.
Jon, good to speak to you. Thank you ever so much. Jon Morter from Southwood and Ferrers in Essex. He runs a Facebook group for the town, and his work is with social media. And yeah, it's the future. It is here. But that's what they were saying in 1921, listening to the British Broadcasting Company when that was formed.